Heroes of the Storm has evolved significantly from its technical alpha stage, continuing to this day to a lesser extent. The developers have done a good job listening to recommendations from their player base and implementing features to better the game, but more importantly they have also removed features that either offered little to no benefit or had a detrimental impact. In this series of videos I will take you on a nostalgic journey through the features of Heroes of the Storm that no longer exist. Let me know in the comments down below if you're glad these features are gone or if you actually rather enjoyed them. In this first installment we will look at towers, forts and keeps. Perhaps the most game-changing adjustment to this system was made on December the 12th, 2017 with the removal of ammunition. Yes, you heard me correctly. Towers, forts and keeps used to have ammunition, such that a team could exhaust their limited amount and push through uncontested. This change was made by developers to increase the length and depth of the laning phase, as the meta strategy before this update was to avoid attacking towers altogether, and instead eliminate enemy minions and mercenary camps, letting your minion wave do the work for you. Since ammunition was removed, so too was a rather specific talent called Detramentalist. This caused auto attacks to remove 1 ammo and deal an additional 10% damage. However, later in a 2019 interview with Brett Crawford, they discussed adding ammunition back into the game with some slight tweaks. But since it messed with the stability of the game, it was ultimately scrapped for good.
You mentioned tower ammo, which was kind of funny because that was in the game and ready to actually ship with the experience globes. We were going to turn it back on. And the team, we played with it. We brought it back in its old form, and everyone hated it.
There also used to be a third tower or side tower with every fort and keep, situated slightly behind the main structure, serving to protect it when it ran out of ammo. It was removed on the same patch as ammunition, and its damage and experience were distributed among the remaining structures, since the lack of ammunition no longer warranted an additional tower. Both these changes moved Heroes of the Storm back in the direction of more popular MOBAs, perhaps making it more accessible to those League or Dota players among you, though I will point out this made towers slightly more vulnerable to backdoor strategies that Slug better watch out. Next up, in April of 2020, a call for help Nexus Anomaly was introduced, which further developed Structure's defensive capabilities. This time it enabled Structures to better protect their friendly heroes by enabling the following. If an allied hero within the range of the tower was being attacked by an enemy, the tower would now target the hero that damaged their ally until they either left the range or died. However, there were some further changes made in June of 2020, and in its final state, heroes attacked by structures now have their armor reduced by as much as 20, but no longer get slowed, plus cores now feature a variety of additional abilities in keeping with their theme. For example, Warhead Junction will periodically fire a warhead at attackers. With so many changes being made to structures to make them more defensive, it became increasingly difficult to execute a so-called cheese push, which consisted of rushing a fort straight out of the gates to gain an instant lead on their opponent. This often involved heroes with summons like Zagara and Anubarak, or those capable of disabling towers like the original Sylvanas, whose Black Arrow used to disable minions and structures. As a result of these changes, structures are now much more formidable and the laning phase of the game is much drawn out. Games no longer feel as punchy as they once were, but ultimately balance the gameplay. I personally like the changes being made, even if they do shift the style in the direction of other MOBAs, but perhaps this is why they're so popular in the first instance. But what do you think? Good or not? Comment down below. As always, feel free to like, dislike or comment on this video. It helps me and the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe for more content and I will see you in the next upload.